Hey guys, it's Mario here, and in this video I'm going to present to you guys a very special guest of mine, actually a client of mine as well, who is a very famous YouTuber from Birmingham, UK. He runs a YouTube channel called Revolution Hive. It's about personal development, about habit change, about self-improvement in general. And I had an opportunity to meet with him here in the UK, and we finally met after working for a very long time. And that's kind of the reality of online coaching, right?
Yeah.
You also do online coaching,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's kind of reality because you get to meet people, but it takes a while usually to meet up. And I finally got a chance to meet with him, and his name is Keshav. And we sat down and we talked a lot about stuff today. We had 2 meals together. we like went into huge rants about self-development, self-improvement. And I wanted to bring him on the channel. And welcome to the channel.
Pleasure to be here. I'm a big supporter. I'm watching all your daily videos as well. So thanks for having me, man.
Awesome. Great to have you here, man. And a good thing about what you just did recently was you actually went to Kenya, and you do a lot of these kind of projects where you just try to go out of your way as much as you can to help other people and really provide a lot of value. And Keshav here, he went to Kenya, and you guys, I mean, he was on a really strict diet and a workout plan we had, and this is the first client I ever had that actually went to a remote village where there's really nothing you can do in terms of, nothing. That's something I wanted to ask you a little bit about. How did you not fall into that, oh, I don't want to do anything here because it's so hard? How did you avoid that all or nothing mentality?
I think the first step is having great support systems around you, like we have with the coaching that you do, but really approaching it in the mindset of there's no all or nothing. Like some is always better than none. And approaching it in that mindset allowed me to before I even land and my feet touch the beautiful Kenyan soil, thinking through, okay, what am I going to do? What's the minimum that I could do? If it's a completely busy day and I'm super tired and it's emotional because I'm working in I'm working in slums and orphanages and I don't feel like it, what's the one tiny thing that I could do? So at least I'm taking one step.
That mindset of 1 push-up is better than 0 push-ups, you know?
Exactly. And the kind of places that I stayed in, just to give you a bit of context, I volunteered for 2.5 weeks, paid for it all myself, did a bunch of fundraising before I went, and we worked in a shelter for orphans in a very remote village. We worked in the slums in Mathare, in Nairobi, and we also went to Nakuru. And these are places where we're constantly traveling. I have no control over my diet because I'm staying in host homes, and there's no equipment. You got just literally like mud everywhere. In some places,
there's no gyms. There's no
just like a table and chair. Exactly.
Nothing,
so what are you gonna do? And it's a really important lesson actually, because you've got your body weight, so you can at least do some body weight squats. You can do table rows. You can do push-ups, handstand push-ups. And it actually makes the workout more fun because you're then racking your brain thinking about, well, what can I do? How can I change this?
Yeah, you're solution oriented, right?
Exactly.
You say, okay, there's the issue. Well, let's find a solution, right? And we did work out a solution, because I remember like when you said, oh well, I'm gonna go to Kenya. I'm like, oh, damn it, even like, because the first time I have someone who's actually going somewhere where there's really nothing. Like if you have a table, you're good. There's even not enough running water. We talked about this. When water intake is compromised, not by your quote unquote laziness, just there is none. Right? That's a thing. And then the diet becomes questionable as well. And we did create a workout which is kind of similar to that no equipment workout plan that I have linked in the description below.
So yeah,
it's
definitely check it
than
out.
That, what you were doing there, and it works, man. Like
it's been tried and tested. Like. What more could you need? And if you can do it in that environment, I can do it anywhere. And that's
exactly. And I see people make excuses to go to the gym, and they're like living in cities like LA, New York, Chicago, and like London. People are making excuses, and like, what's your excuse, man? Like, what's your excuse? Like, seriously. One interesting thing that I wanted to ask you, because Keshav works with clients on habit change, you work on behavioral change, your personal development coach, you change lives, right? I talked to some of his clients, and we actually did a guest mastermind talk as well, which was really awesome, and I get to meet these people. And it's really grounded in habit change, right? It's grounded in building that habit. What would be your framework? Because I know you guys as well, you appreciate good habit advice, and we know that exercise, nutrition, and everything in life is habits. What's your framework for habitual, like for changing these habits?
It's a great question. I think, what are some practical tools that people can go away with? Because most people rely on motivation and willpower to get them through. And we know that those are unreliable. They vary, anything can happen, things can change. So what can you rely on? Well, there's a couple of things that you can do. The psychologist Robert Dilts has a theory called Neurological Levels, that your environment influences your behavior, your skills, your identity, and your identity dominates it. So we work at two levels. One is environment, so just changing your environment, structuring it, designing it, and making sure that you're planning for those things, so that you have the triggers around you, so that if you look in the fridge, you're going to see a tub of cottage cheese instead of, a chocolate bar.
Cottage cheese.
Exactly. Another thing that really works really well is tracking. We use something called the habit sheet. Shout out to Franz who developed it. I know you've seen it as well.
Yeah,
but creating your own
cool.
tracking system, so you can see, well, just like you track your foods, why don't you track your 24 hours in a day and see in your calendar, well, what do I want to do in the next 24 hours, and what actually happened?
Yeah.
And where did my time actually go? Because your time, your focus and attention, they're the real currencies in this life. In a society where we have so much information, where your attention goes is the real power. And that's something that we have to take control over. Otherwise, there's plenty of blogs, videos, movies that will take it for you. So there's two things I would say to everyone out there is design your environment very carefully and purposefully, so that if I know I want to go to the gym tomorrow and I can't really be bothered, I'm going to wear my workout clothes to sleep. So when I wake up, all I have to do, put my trainers on and just roll out of bed and just get to the gym. And the second thing is measuring and managing those habits.
Awesome. That's some great advice there. And for you guys that are looking to really optimize and how you spend your time, there's a really cool app called Rescue Time that actually runs in the background of your computer. And it tells you which pages on the internet you're spending your most time on, and which programs you're spending the most time in. I was actually shocked at first when I installed this app. I was like, damn, I'm spending so much time on Facebook and all these social media sites. And there, what you said, you want to reduce that activation energy that it takes for the habit to happen, right? So make it as easy for you as possible. So make it a default choice. Otherwise, if there's candy on the table, that's a default choice when you're hungry. Why not just make it a bowl of fruit? And really huge design your environment on pretty much to support your new habits, and it's going to force you to basically execute the habit, and that's a really powerful thing. I think we talked about measurement before. I mean, everybody here knows that I'm really big on MyFitnessPal and tracking your macros and calories.
You're actually the only person who's tracked more days consistently than me. Like, this guy's 5 days ahead, so I'm still waiting for him to slip up.
I'm like 550 days in MyFitnessPal, and before that was like 300 days as well. So I'm tracking since the beginning of time, basically. And it's interesting, you can go back in like 2014, beginning of, see what random food I had at some point, which is really interesting. But again, as you said, what isn't measured isn't managed. You can't manage something you don't know what's happening. If you want to save money, let's first see where you spend that money, and then we can try to make some things happen.
That's one of the, just to quickly add on there, you don't really, sometimes you don't even need to change anything. It's just, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it's just
what are you actually doing, and just like clock all your hours, all your time, and your energy, your foods, and you'll see the patterns.
Yeah, exactly. Patterns will emerge, and that's interesting, especially with dieting. You're gonna see, hey, Saturday night is usually the time where I slip up in my diet. I don't get my protein on a Wednesday for some reason, because the meal at school or work wasn't really high in protein. You discover patterns, and it's a lot easier to make modifications than complete revamps of the system. Yep. You just add tiny little tweaks rather than try to change your whole life, because change your whole life will mean that you have to redesign every single little bit of it. Why not just tweak the system?
You're working against years of psychology.
Exactly.
Years.
Yeah. One final thing to wrap it up. Last question that I really was curious for a while, because I know you're a big reader, same as I am. What's your favorite book and the big idea from that book? Like the big idea from that specific book, Because we know, I mean, we read a lot, so.
Yeah, this is a tough question,
We
but
wanna
I'll
narrow
go
it.
with one that's really impacted me personally recently has been Mastery of Self-Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. And it really helped me to understand people much better and not to take things personally as such. When there's conflict, when there's behavior that I don't understand. And he talks about this idea that, imagine you're born with a disease, right? And you've got scabs all over your body. And every time someone just brushes past you, like I just accidentally touched that, it hurts, it physically hurts. So you react to that scar that scab you've got on your body. And there's no cure for this disease, it's normal, everyone has it. And it's the same thing. Imagine one day you woke up and you didn't suddenly have all these scabs on your body. You'd be so happy, you'd be wanting to hug people, shake their hand and share your love. But some people aren't ready for that because they've still got those scabs on their body. And he talks about how that's what life is like. We're all running around with past traumas, experiences, failures, disappointments, success, all kinds of, a human being is a variety of different things at any given time. And it really helped me to kind of see things as that person's not really reacting to me. They're reacting to their scar that they have.
Their own scars.
People don't tend to respond to the situation, but the experience itself or how they're experiencing it. So when you're talking about the gym to someone, it's not just about the gym, it's their experience of the gym. So that's one powerful idea. So Don Miguel Ruiz, Mastery of Self-Love.
We're definitely going to link all of that up in the description below, like links to your channel, to the book, to pretty much everything. Everything is going to be linked up in the description below. And I really love the idea that you just presented, and I hope you guys enjoyed this quick interview with Keshav here. You can find more about him and his ideas on your channel. I mean, you do daily videos as well. Super powerful, legit content, scientific, evidence-based. You know, we're all about that. No bullshit, really. No nonsense. You know, it's really practical things you can apply in your life. So I want to thank you again for coming on the channel. Again, if you have any questions for Keshav, make sure to leave them in the comments below. We're going to be answering all the questions, and you will be monitoring the video. 100%. And hope you guys enjoyed a quick chat here. It's a little bit about personal development. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks again for having me, and peace.